We're recording. I'm here with Trevor Evans.
Hello.
We're just going to walk along and talk to him as we go.
Yep.
Because I'm sure you're busy and do things before it's the festival.
We're at the Paddington Christmas Fair and it's been a bit of a cross-collaboration between different levels of government to try to get this to happen.
I did want to catch up with you for a couple of reasons. One is that on social media it's coming up again about the vaccine through coercion.
Yeah.
Qantas has even posted, and I've seen the video myself with my own eyes where he's saying no jab, no flight.
Right.
Now, what's the fucking go? Because you told me ages ago on a video conference that we had that won't happen.
So the government has definitely said 100% we are not going to mandate the vaccine.
Right, so if someone openly says, look, I'd rather trust Mother Nature than get the vaccine.
Yep, we're not going to force them to do it.
Even no coercion by, you lose your benefits, or you lose this, or you can't go overseas, or whatever.
So I guess you just got to recognise how many people we can tell what to do and not. So, I know that some businesses, for instance, like some childcares at the moment, will say about kids, if they haven't had their vaccinations, then they can't come to this childcare centre. But that's not the government telling them to do it or not. That's their choice. That's
a business choice. That's a free,
and that's them
free business choice.
Their sort of freedom in the same way as people deciding to or not to get
if I wanted to go across to this building over here, I don't even know if it's a coffee shop. This looks like a workshop. And if I walked in and they said, "Oh no, you got to have the vaccine, otherwise we can't serve you coffee," I'll go, "Fine. Yeah. My money will go somewhere else."
Exactly.
Right.
And so I think you'll find. There might be some of that choice by businesses, but it won't be government mandated. The government is very, very clear that we are not going to mandate any vaccination.
All right. Are you still officially calling this a pandemic? Because some of the research I've done, I'll give you some statistics. 1918, there was a thing called the Spanish flu.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people say 50 to 100 million people died. It was a really bad thing. But what a lot of people don't realise is the population of the global planet was only 1.6 billion. Technically, that's more than 5% of the population.
Yeah.
That was a pandemic.
Yeah.
Now, if we had the same circumstances here, and a lot of people say, we've got isolation, we can talk to each other, and that would have helped a good amount.
Yeah.
But I'm still sure that it would have been a good 2% of the death on the planet if we had had that. Now, we're talking hundreds of millions of people dead. And yet, have we even had 1 million globally?
Well, I think nobody's saying that this is worse than the Spanish flu. I don't think anyone.
Yeah, but they're still, the media is still hysterically beating it up as a pandemic.
Well, I'm not
one case in South Australia.
If I could tell the media what to say, I'd be a very happy politician.
Well, one case in South Australia, and it's all over the internet. One case in South Australia again. They're going to close the borders.
Yeah.
Now, again, we'll come. I'll flick around to a few subjects here because this is the way I work. That Dominion voting machine over in America that's got the, shall we say, the controversy to it. Now, I've read an article. Now, I'm not going to quote this because I've only seen the one article, and I'm going to take everything with a pinch of salt until I read several articles. Yeah. That Australia is using it.
First, I've heard the name Dominion. You say
Dominion.
Yeah. So what is it?
Like it's a vote tallying counting machine that they use in America.
Okay.
Right, this is the one that the controversy is about.
Right.
Right. So you're obviously still watching Channel 7 and Channel 9 and Channel 10.
Yeah. Well, I don't watch much news live because I'm usually out at community events, but I catch up with it later.
Right. Well, see, I do keep up to date with the mainstream media, but when I hear it's their narrative is, as soon as they say Donald Trump is giving false claims, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Now, that's not news. That's giving a narrative. It should be Donald Trump is claiming. Donald Trump is claiming. Leave it to the courts to see if it's false or not.
Yeah.
See, they're not giving news. They're giving a narrative and an opinion. Yeah. Right? That's the mainstream media.
Yeah. Yeah, it's opinion versus facts is what you're saying.
Right. Now, I research mine on probably 1 to 2 dozen independent sites on YouTube. Yeah. Again, it's the internet. Take it with a pinch of salt.
Sure.
Same as anyone who watches mine is going to take it with a pinch of salt. Yeah. Which they should, because you've got to. And I have arguments and not arguments, but discussions with people. They go, don't believe everything you read on the internet. And I go, well, no, mate, I don't. I follow my logic and common sense and use it with a healthy amount of skepticism with critical thinking. Yep. Right? Now, just because some of the stuff I find they're not even looking at doesn't make me a conspiracy theorist, does it? It just means I've got information that they don't look at. They think that the mainstream media news are gods. because they don't look at nothing else. They don't listen to nothing else. Right? Now, I've heard that there's 2 states in Queensland have used that computer system. Now, I don't know for a fact.
2 states in Australia, you mean, or 2 states in Queensland?
2 states in Australia that have used that system to count the votes. Like they tally them and then they put them through the machine.
Can I ask, is it a machine that takes physical ballots that have been filled out and then counts them, or is it a counting of electronic votes?
Apparently, it can do a number of different issues. You can literally walk up with your card and it puts up on the screen and you can push a button, or you can put your physical vote in and it tells you.
Yeah, we don't do voting like that in Australia that way. So I can't speak for all the states and territories, but I can speak with confidence to federal voting. So, I mean, the first thing to say is we use paper ballots, not electronic votes, and then the paper ballots are counted by hand with scrutiny as present. So that's the thing that gives us so much confidence as we physically see those votes come out of the ballot box, and as the people put them into piles and then count them, and then what scrutiny is there.
Well, that's good, because the 2 states that I heard, and I've yet to confirm this one way or the other with any sort of research, that used it is, lo and behold, it's the socialist side of Queensland and Victoria.
Right.
So they are also equal to the Democrats over in America, who are being accused of cheating at this stage. I'll still wait and see until the jury's out on that.
Yeah. One other issue, and then I'll have to keep running, Ross.
Go on. Well, all right. I really can't think of one of them. I mean, I've got 100 on paper, but I just didn't bring my paperwork with me.
That's right.
Foreign troops in Australia. Apparently there's some sort of bill that's going through about some sort of emergency bill that if Australia has an emergency of some sort, we can have foreign troops come here and help us, and there's no liability if they accidentally kill someone or they deliberately kill someone or something like that.
I can't remember if it was you. I've had one person mention that to me, but I haven't been able to find any evidence of what that is or what that bill could be.
I've seen several articles of it.
I've just been in the Parliament for the last week, obviously, and I don't know what other bills there might be on the notice paper or something, but certainly nothing like that has been debated or raised this week in the Parliament.
So Pauline Hanson killed the cash bill, apparently, from what I understand.
Okay.
The $10,000, dealing with cash thing. But that one about the letting in foreign troops, I mean, apparently the Port of Darwin has got foreign troops there, but I think they're just guards on the gate or something like that. I don't know. I haven't seen all the facts. I'm not in Darwin. I can't tell. And this is the part where I think that there should be a site where all Australians can go to, and we can all intermingle there. Closed site. No trolls from overseas, no, you must be 18, vote, blah, blah, blah. So the concerned citizens have a closed group, and the politicians can go there and interact when they got 5 minutes, 10 minutes spare.
Like a forum sort of?
Forum thing, like a Facebook forum. But it's not censored by Zuckerberg, whereas, and that's another issue America's got, where they're saying YouTube and Google and Facebook censored the fuck out of the conservatives.
Around the world are concerned about the way that some of the social media giants might end up like some of the big sort of colonialist, companies from centuries ago, like the East India Company and other things like that.
Yeah, it becomes rife for corruption. Same as when America, the difference between someone simplified it to me, and I thought that makes sense. Socialism is about making government big to make all the decisions for everyone, so you don't have, as a citizen, you don't have to worry about anything, but you don't get any free choice. Whereas the capitalists, or Republicans, whatever you want to call them, want smaller government so that the individuals and the money flow can flow with limited, small amount of government interference. And that makes sense to me, because I'd rather be on the conservative side of things, whereas I have less government interference with what I'm doing, less regulation, so that I can have a free will of choice to do what I need to do, to experiment, to travel freely, and that. Whereas
liberalism sort of really came into its own in the mid 20th century on the basis of being a philosophy where you just try to break down power by making sure markets are competitive without monopolies, by grabbing power out of central governments and putting it as local and in the hands of the people as much as you can. That's sort of one of the fundamental tenets of liberalism.
Well, that's where it comes back to that forum site that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I'm talking about decentralising government.
Yeah.
Take the power away from the politicians. So all you should do is when you walk into Parliament, you go to your phone or pad or notepad, whatever, look on that site and go, this is what the people want us to do today, and then you do it.
Yeah.
So you don't have to be a career politician. Unfortunately, most of them are, which is, and I'm only reflecting what other people talk to me about. And it pisses a lot of people off that use career politicians because you're not talking to the people anymore. You're one of the few that are more contactable than the other slimes, who some of them actually called police on me. But it's still a career politician. We don't want that. I don't want that because that becomes rife for corruption.
Technically, at this point in time, the years of political experience of the average MP in the House of Reps is probably the lowest that it's been for probably 60 or 70 years since the Civil War period. So there's probably fewer career politicians now mathematically than there were through the thousands, the 90s, the 80s, the 70s, the 60s.
Well, this is another thing that would be one of my subjects to put on that site. Is how long should we limit politicians to be in politics, right? You know, you go in there, so you can't be a career politician. You still have to have other skills and work in the public and have a business or whatever. So when you go into politics, you go there for the right reason, not to make money, not to wheel and deal, because Turnbull went in there worth X amount of hundreds of millions, and when he left, he was worth double that. Obama did the same thing. He was worth dozens times more what he went into there with when he first started. He was worth X amount of millions or hundreds of millions or whatever. When he left, he was worth exorbitant amounts more.
Good to talk to you, Ross. I'm going to have to keep going.
Always
a pleasure.
No worries.
Stay well.